Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Penkin and I'm the composer for Shin Chronicle. This time I'm the main composer and including the main theme Skies of Burden, and I'm also the composer, as you may know me from, Made in Abyss. What was really interesting about writing music for Shin Chronicle is that a lot of the music, or some of the music I should say, definitely had an interactive element to the music. And so I found myself writing multiple layers of music that would in some way become almost up to the player. It was like the choice of the player in order to pick which types of music or which pathway of the music would actually play. So the user or the player is really actually in control of where the music goes, which I found really interesting and fun to write for. I really love writing music for characters. It's sort of one of the most exciting things that you can do as a composer, because you get to look at everything to do with that character, whether it be their background, whether it be their visual style, their personality, and you get to try and distill that into a piece of music that represents that character. In terms of, or in regards to Chloe, what I found really fun was to work with her personality and really try and represent so many of her adventures that she goes on, and really try and make that a really accurate piece of music that really makes it Chloe's theme. Writing music for Sarah was just a really fun and enjoyable experience. What I really found appealing about Sarah was I actually found a fantastic opportunity to use an instrument that I'd never used before, which was the flugelhorn. And I've never used the flugelhorn before, and I definitely haven't used it as a solo. So the flugelhorn is Sarah's solo instrument, which is really fun for me. And even beyond that, what I've really liked about Sarah's theme is that I actually made it a waltz, because I found that her personality and also her visual style was an incredible combination of things like, she has this royale sort of feeling about her. She has this armor, but at the same time she has an incredible nuance, or she has an incredible sort of flow to her that I really wanted to try and express. So the use of the brass flugelhorn solo and then also the use of the waltz tempo was a really fun combination to work with for Sarah. Writing the home screen music was such a delight. It was like eating ice cream for me. We got to use the full orchestra for the first time, and that was very exciting. So anything from violin solos to string ensembles to woodwind to brass, and we used the full brass ensemble, tuba, trombone, horn, trumpet. We used everything, and we had this big, awesome brass sound. We recorded some of it live, and I was super happy about that. And so even though the composition is quite light and it's quite flamboyant and it's very playful, I really enjoy the depth that we could also get by using the full orchestra for this track. This is a very personal way of writing music for me. It's like sort of my own personal compositional way. But when I'm starting a project, I don't really think about whether it is anime or whether it is a game straight away. What I really look at is the world. I look at the world, I look at the visual style of it, I look at the character design, and ultimately, of course, the story, and try and make a language based off that. And so when I've made that musical language, then I will then translate it into anime music or video game music. And of course, there are different things that happen after that. Of course, game music is interactive, and anime music has a very unique way of writing music, which is unique to the industry, which I find really awesome. So both types of music have a really different but interesting way of getting to the finish line. But at the end of the day, I always start just writing something that's for the core of the story first. To work on a game as big as Shin Chronicle in the time of the pandemic was a really interesting adventure because, of course, everything had to be done remote, and I'm in Australia. And so, I still really value wanting to work with the team almost like a rock band. And so we always try and have like a weekly meeting where we can just sort of experiment and be creative together. And that's something that I really value. And of course, everyone was recording their music from home. There was no studio time. And we all missed that. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to go back to the studio and record in person and celebrate the game in person. But it was a really interesting adventure to try and just get all the music working together and make sure that the creative process was protected. So I have an interesting story with the main theme because the main theme was made just before the pandemic hit, and I was actually in Japan when Australia shut down, and the last thing I did before having to suddenly return to Australia is go to the Sega headquarters and work on the main theme with the team. And so it was this really crazy, awesome time where we were really obviously worried about the pandemic, but at the same time, we really wanted to make music together like a band. And so on one of my last days in Japan, before the pandemic just shut everything down, we went into the studio together and we experimented and we created together. And we made a theme, which was great. So yeah, very happy that I could spend that time in Japan working on the main theme with with the team. It was crazy. はい、皆さんありがとうございました。新クロニクルぜひ楽しんでください。音楽もぜひ聴いて楽しんでください。ケビンでした。ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。